they're all going to say, we could be the next Anduril. And, they're not wrong. Like there's a lot of small defense companies getting massive valuations and investment rounds coming in. In line with what we predicted at the beginning of the year, that defense would dominate the news cycle in 2026, defense tech. So defense tech funding has actually eclipsed last year's full record in 5 months. So that's pretty interesting. Defense tech startups have already eclipsed last year's full record of $9.6 billion in just 5 months in 2026. So this is including Anduril's $5 billion Series H at a $30.5 billion valuation. That's the largest single contributor, at least. True Anomaly, Sierra Space, and VAS among the largest space-related defense recipients. AI-enabled defense systems, autonomous aircraft, maritime vehicles, and military software are also driving this surge. Swarmer also, the company Swarmer, it's an AI drone startup. It actually IPO'd and went public and surged more than 500% on its first trading day, which is pretty crazy for a first day after IPO. So that's remaining currently near those highs as of early June. The Iran war has proven out autonomous drone technology at operational scale. And we talked about this too, like the war in Ukraine, how it's kind of like this permanent sandbox for testing these new military instruments, robots, drones, autonomous vehicles. So it's obviously a good time to be in defense. Sad to say that we're allocating more and more of our national budgets and more taxpayer money to buy these weapons, but obviously it's good if you're working in one of these companies or investing in defense tech right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say about this, considering that this was one of our theses for 2026. We anticipated a lot of attention and a lot of capital going into defense spending, and more specifically, autonomous defense. So it doesn't surprise us that to see these numbers. What does surprise me is the level of public attention that's been driven towards defense tech and defense spending. And retrospect, it does make a lot of sense. We're talking about a lot of content publicly that's being shared from the different war fronts currently across the world. We're talking about the Russia-Ukraine war. We're talking about the war in Iran. And there's a lot of content being captured from these autonomous systems that are somehow making its way distilled to the public eye. You see it on social media, and it creates more attention and more interest in the technology front that's developing behind the scenes of these war fronts. And in tandem with what we've been seeing with, let's say, the traditional financial industry moving more on chain, talking about bringing financial opportunities and investment opportunities to the masses through, let's say, pseudo-anonymous infrastructure or on-chain infrastructure. We're now seeing this kind of landscape play out where everyday people are being more involved in the defense and offensive discussion, and being able to get involved not only politically or culturally, but financially. And it seems like we're, in some sense, it's kind of normalizing. I don't want to say defense tech, I would say like military conflict. And so this is a little bit concerning, and it's a little bit interesting because I did something that I did not anticipate. But it seems like defense tech is now becoming like it's not a niche sector anymore. It's more of like a mainstream sector, like you would invest in healthcare or logistics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think I'm trying to imagine all the pitch decks in the defense tech space for startups is they're all going to be referencing this Anduril valuation at $30.5 billion. Like they're all going to say, we could be the next Anduril. We're going to see a lot of that, and they're not wrong. Like there's a lot of huge defense companies, or sorry, small defense companies getting massive valuations and investment rounds coming in. European military robots are going to the war games here, actually happening in Switzerland. And the European land robot trial in 2026 opens next week, June 15th to the 19th, at the Swiss Army's Thun training area. So, the world's most demanding military robotics competition with reconnaissance, transport, and search and rescue in realistic night battlefield conditions, which is pretty cool. I would love to go see this, but I'm sure it's not open to people like me. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think it's interesting. We're talking about how China is dominating the robotics space, but it's good to see that Europe is stepping up. Other countries in the West are stepping up because they see that this is definitely a vital national security importance. They need to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. And simultaneously, speaking of China, JD.com, one of the world's or one of China's largest websites, e-commerce websites, they're running their world's first humanoid robot auction during China's 618 shopping festival. That's going to be happening next week on June 18th. So the brand includes Unitree, who we've been talking about quite a bit, and Notix, and they're also integrating into the platform. So JD Logistics plans to deploy 3 million robots over 5 years. So they're also going to be like auctioning off these robots to the general public. And I think they're making a very concerted effort to put these in the hands of like regular consumers, everyday people. They want to normalize that. And we saw that last week with this I think it was America's Got Talent competition with the robots. Like they're trying to make these things look as friendly as possible. They're trying to normalize it, make it like, you know, there's warning signs or indications saying that everybody's going to have a robot at some point. And I think this is funny because I saw that, maybe not funny, but I saw a video last week of a robot marching in a parade, and it just roundhouse kicked a little kid in China in the face. And I'm like, like we need to be a little bit more careful with these things. I know that that can happen with an animal like a horse, a police horse. It could happen with a car or a scooter or a bicycle, but just seeing a robot just haul off and like Chuck Norris kick a kid in the face, not great.
Yeah, I saw that. That poor kid.
Poor kid, yeah. That was a meme. That
Uh,
was a gif.
that was wild. It's the first robot on human case, like documented case of violence. And, this is the concern I think I was speaking about. We're talking about military trials, the most rugged military competition when it comes to robotics and defense tech. And it seems like it's being publicized. It's like the Super Bowl of military applications for robots. And this is something that's going to gain a lot of attention from consumers everywhere. That, let's be honest, like we've never really had this type of insight into military technology and advancement before. Like we would hear some announcements made publicly from companies that build defense tech, but now it's really a mainstream thing. And I think it's because robotics are an application or a platform that will affect everybody's everyday lives eventually, and that's being showcased very, very heavily from China and in robotics for consumer applications and humanoid robotics for, let's say, helping someone around the home or working in a factory. These same robots can potentially be used in a military application if they're given a gun or armaments or whatever, right? And so it's going to be very interesting to see this, but it is funny considering that like it seems very segmented. Like this conference or this competition is very isolated from what's happening in China, and we haven't seen a whole lot of information or content coming from China's defense tech robotics capabilities.
Yeah, it's true. It seems like they're focusing more on consumer application and day to day life, which is, yeah, that's a good point. And I think in unrelated news, I've heard some unconfirmed reports that there's already been confirmed like autonomous drone casualties or kills by military application. Uh, no direct human intervention or piloting, just actually,
Oof.
I don't know. It's a little bit worrying if that's true. It's unconfirmed actually, but we're gonna start to see more and more stories like this too. I fear.
Oh my God, killed by code.
Yep. Hey, it's your friend Mello from Arcanum Ventures. If you got any value out of this video whatsoever, we want to hear about it. Leave us a comment in the comment section. We look forward each and every week to reading those, and maybe give us a subscribe too, because we put out new content all the time, 4 or 5 videos a week. So maybe check one out now. Take it easy.